It's ASMR. I need to show you guys something. Try not to cry. We need to talk about the NBA trades. The NBA trade deadline and my mental health. As you guys know, I'm a big Sacramento Kings fan. I got this jersey for Christmas. My wife got it for me. And crazily enough, just a month and a half ago at Christmas, there were no trade rumors, suspicions, anything that my favorite Sacramento King of all time, my favorite player, I don't know if I can't say he's my favorite player of all time, but my favorite player for the last, 2017, so almost, 8 years. A month and a half ago, there were no rumors or talks that he was going to be traded. But alas, I see here today with an old jersey, a jersey that no longer is relevant. They traded De'Aaron Fox. That's something we're going to get into today. Maybe I'll do some ASMR with this jersey because I still love this thing. I'm going to wear it proudly because, I'm kind of a journey connoisseur. And this jersey, it's simple, it's plain, it's really not too special, but it's great. The Nike swoosh, a lot of times they don't do the Nike with the lettering, they just do the Nike swoosh, but it's kind of like the Nike SB logo. That not a lot of jerseys have that. The old kind of gothic style lettering. I don't know what material it is, but it makes some fun sounds. The old number 5 that De'Aaron Fox wore as of last week. It's a great jersey. And, but yeah, like I said, no longer relevant, no longer a jersey that is accurate. So let's get into it. I'll kind of fold this up nicely. And we can have it as our backdrop, I suppose. So, let's talk. Obviously, the first thing I want to talk about is the moves that the Sacramento Kings have been making, because they've made more than just this trade. They've done a couple of things. I guess 2 really main moves that they made that are varying from disastrous to good. So, first off, obviously, the Sacramento Kings traded De'Aaron Fox to the San Antonio Spurs for, it was a 3-way trade, so between Sacramento, San Antonio, and the Chicago Bulls. Those 3 teams. Fox, I think, and then they got Kevin Huerter, which he hasn't been great, I'll be honest. The Sacramento Kings also got not enough for what Fox is worth, in my opinion. They get Zach LaVine, Sissoko, who just got traded again, and we'll talk about that. And then a bunch of picks that, at first glance, look decent, but then you go deeper and you realize that the picks we got actually, either we aren't going to get them because they might be protected, or they're going to be terrible picks. Teams that we have picks from, I think we have picks from like the Thunder, and we have a couple from the Spurs, but those are teams that are going to be at the top and are going to have terrible draft picks for the next 5-10 years. So really those I don't think will amount to much. We got Zach LaVine, and on paper they look somewhat similar. As far as like points per game is concerned, De'Aaron Fox I think averages 1 more point per game. Zach LaVine has a higher 3-point percentage, which is something we need, but the issue is that this Sacramento Kings offense was so reliant on De'Aaron Fox and his ability to get around anyone. So far, we are, I think, 2 games into Zach LaVine, and we're 0-2, and he's shot terribly. This is really just the Chicago Bulls 2.0. Chicago Bulls in purple. That's kind of what we are now. We've got DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, who are supposed to be our primary scorers. Domantas Sabonis, I'm not sure how he fits into this scheme anymore. I think he's still the best player on the team, in my opinion. But he lost his wingman. And as a big man, that's kind of your lifeline. Look at Victor Wembanyama. That's the reason they made the trade, is because they realized that a big man he kind of unlocks a full potential when he has a guard that can bring that out of him, that can be a threat, that can pass. The Sabonis now, I think, I'm not going to say he's not going to be as good. Well, actually I am. I'm going to say I don't think he's going to be as good anymore. He has to get used to a new offense, an offense that's slower, which I think is huge. And we're going to talk about that as well. He has to get used to an offense that's slower, and an offense that it's just different. It's just different. I guess we don't really have enough of a sample size to really determine how it's going to go down the road. I know, being traded is hard. Zach LaVine hasn't been playing great, and I'm hoping that will change. But, man, in the 8 years that I've been watching De'Aaron Fox on the Kings, the offense has been lethal because they are fast, because they run, and the offense is so fast that defenses just can't keep up, which is why we have, I think for the last couple of years, we've had one of the most high scoring offenses, I think, in league history. That's not going to happen anymore. We're not. The way DeMar plays is slow and methodical. The way Zach LaVine plays is slow and methodical. Malik Monk, to me, he's kind of the hope this team, if he can really bloom, I think he already kind of has, but if he can continue to bloom and blossom into a De'Aaron Fox-esque player, I think this team has a very bright future. But I think that's kind of what we're depending on right now is our young guys, Keon Ellis, Malik Monk, Keegan Murray, really becoming the leaders of this team. Because as much as I love De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, we know what that looks like. It looks like making the playoffs once in, I don't know what it was, 4 years, 5 years together. I don't have a lot of hope that those two are going to be a catalyst for good basketball. And I think, there's a lot of talk about the trade, obviously, but I really think this comes down to Malik Monk, Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis, and Sabonis being the leaders of this team and really defining what this team is and how they play. And it's almost like I don't want DeMar and Zach LaVine to get in the way of that. Which maybe is the wrong mindset to have, and maybe I'm just biased because those are my guys, but I'm frustrated by this trade. De'Aaron Fox was such an integral part of who we are, of our culture, and he's gone. I won't lie, in his debut with the Spurs, he went off. I think he had a double-double with points and assists. And I was sitting on the couch with my wife during his post-game interview, and I shed a couple tears, I'm not gonna lie, because he's happy. He's where he wants to be. He's from Texas. He's back home. And he's still my favorite player. That's not gonna change. I'm glad he's happy. I'm glad he's home. And I wish him all the best. I'm gonna watch every game that he plays that I can, because him and Victor Wembanyama is gonna be television for years. I'm glad he's on a team that's somewhat of a bigger market. That they at least get more televised games. I'm happy that he's probably gonna get the attention he really deserves there, being paired with Victor Wembanyama. But I won't lie, I shed a few tears in that post-game interview because he was just smiling and happy, and at that moment I couldn't help but just try and smile and be happy for him too. So they were happy tears. I have a lot of memories of watching him play, and sorry guys, my wife just woke up and she was making some noises, trying to get my attention, so I think bring her water is what she wanted. I don't know. Anyways, sorry if you guys heard that. That was my wife. She doesn't normally sound like that, but I was sitting on the couch the other day after watching Fox's debut with the Spurs, and I shed a few tears, and my wife looked over at me and was like, basically like, you choose this time to get emotional out of all things. This is the thing you cry about. I'm sorry. I'm sure the boys will understand, but sometimes I've known De'Aaron Fox longer than I've known my wife. It was a hard moment. That being said, I love my wife. Sorry, this is kind of going off the rails, going in a weird direction. I don't mean to tell you guys about my personal life. That's kind of not what you come for, but anyways, that's what happened. I was pretty torn up about the trade, but I'm happy for him. He's a good dude. He's back home, and he's gonna kill it. And it needed to happen. There was just a bunch of turmoil within the organization since the firing of Mike Brown. I think this was basically destined to happen, bound to happen. He wasn't happy anymore, and he felt like, I get it. He wants to win, and the moves that the Sacramento Kings organization was making were not winning moves. I didn't think they were. I don't think anyone on the team thought they were. But here we are. And, man, I don't know if there's a lot more to say. I guess predictions for my Kings for the next, I try to stay positive and say that long term I think this will be good for the Kings. But deep down, I don't think so. Maybe that's just my heart talking. But, to me, long term, this just looks like an experiment that will last 2 or 3 years, and then everyone gets traded away. And, I don't know. In my mind, I'd prefer trading DeMar and Zach for the future. Get some young stars, or even young pieces, and ride the wave of Malik Monk, Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis, Sabonis. Because I think if we hang our hat on Levine and DeMar DeRozan, I don't think it works out, and I think most people would agree with me on that sentiment. So that's all I really have to say. My predictions for the season, I think we're a play-in team, maybe 9-10 seed. I think Doug Christie's great. He kind of was thrust into a really strange position where your star player wants to leave, but you still have to coach and keep the rest of the team together and united. It was so strange, and he did really, really well, and he's done really well since the firing of Mike Brown. But it's hard. You can only take so much as a head coach before things eventually kind of fizzle. And I think things are fizzling right now. 2-game lose streak. And our schedule doesn't get any easier. The West is now stacked. That's just the way it is. There are no easy wins in the West. Besides the Jazz, of course. Besides the Jazz and the Pelicans. But even those aren't guarantees anymore. I don't know. But I guess we can move on from talking about my Sacramento Kings, and let's talk about the Golden State Warriors. Wait. Back to the Sacramento Kings. Sorry, guys. We also traded Sissoko in the trade we got from the Bulls. We traded him away and get Jonas Valanciunas, who is a guy that I know Sabonis is a huge fan of. They're buddies, and he's someone that has given us grief in the past, and I'm hoping he can be a guy to come off the bench and really, that second unit, I think now is going to consist of him, Keon Ellis, who else comes off the bench right now? I don't even know anymore. I have to go look at the roster again, because I don't even know who we still have, but, that was a great acquisition. Sorry, got lost there for a second. So yeah, now our main guys, Malik Monk, DeMar DeRozan, or Zach LaVine at the shooting guard, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Sabonis. Then off the bench we got Keon Ellis, Valanciunas, and I don't know if we retained anyone else. I don't know what else happened. Kevin Huerter's gone. Who else is still there? Man, I don't even know. But That's a good 7-man lineup. It's good. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's good. And we could potentially do some damage. But, of course, that's yet to be seen. So let's talk about the Golden State Warriors. They trade Andrew Wiggins for Jimmy Butler, which I felt was a fair trade. I don't know if I would say it's a good trade. Only time will tell with things like this, because Jimmy Butler, almost at this point, Jimmy Butler seems to me like a ticking time bomb, where his happiness is very dependent on the environment, I guess, that he's in. I don't think he'll be a great fit with the Warriors. I think they'll have to make that adjustment because I don't know. I just don't see how he fits into that system. But I guess that system, the system that I know that the Golden State Warriors had, is pretty much gone. I don't know. Jimmy Butler is a mystery to me. I don't think anyone really knows what's going on in his head. What the things he does, it's all kind of shrouded in mystery, if you will. Like I said, he's kind of a ticking time bomb. It's only a matter of time before he is unhappy with where he's at right now. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, he was on the Heat in a great city with one of the greatest coaches of all time, with one of the greatest management teams of all time, with some great upcoming stars. I don't know what else. I mean, he's been underperforming for a year and a half now. He's kind of been radio silent, if you will. Haven't really heard much from him since the playoff run from 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, I think that was 2 years ago, but that trade, I think the Heat just were sick of him. It was a bad relationship, which fits the trend of teams trading Jimmy Butler because he's a pain in the butt, to put it nicely, I guess. Kind of a deviant, if you will. He, I don't know, this might be the last time people are willing to trade for him. Because, I don't know, if I put myself in the shoes of any general manager, I look at his track record, and I'm like, I don't know if what Jimmy Butler offers is worth the hit my team is going to take in a year when he's unhappy. So I think his trade value has plummeted, which is why he got traded for just Andrew Wiggins. Not downplaying how good Andrew Wiggins is. He's great, and at this point probably better than Jimmy Butler. But I think Jimmy Butler 2 years ago could have gotten you a lot more. And I mean, maybe that's just he's getting older, but I think teams are starting to realize how important culture and, team chemistry is, and that's something that Jimmy Butler has a history of being very poor at and almost ruining. You look at, the Chicago Bulls. I don't know the state of the affairs of when he left that team. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I know what happened when he left the Timberwolves and the 76ers and the Heat. It was the same story over and over and over again, which is that Jimmy Butler's just causing problems. I don't know how much of that is hyperbole. I don't know how much of that is overstated by organizations, but at a certain point, something happens once, it's debatable. Something happens twice, it's suspicious. Something happens 3 times, you're like, well, I think without a doubt we can say that Jimmy Butler's sometimes not the greatest teammate. I'll just put it that way. How many times can something happen before it's a trend? So, it'll be interesting to see how that works out for the Warriors. I'm not going to say I think Jimmy Butler's still great. I won't be completely surprised if we see another Draymond Green punching video from practice. Jimmy Butler getting walloped. Is that something people... never mind, walloped. Sorry, I kind of pulled that out of thin air, but... I guess for my predictions for this season, I think the Warriors right now are like they're playing, I think they're somewhere in the play-in. I haven't looked at the standings since, I think, a day or 2 ago. But there are like 4 teams that are like consistently stuck in the play-in. It's the Kings, the Suns, the Warriors, and the Timberwolves. Pretty much all just move up and down in between the 10 and the 7 seed. Just kind of fluctuating between... I think all of them are pretty much at 500. I think the Kings now are at 26 wins, 26 losses, so exactly 500. And I think the Warriors might have a game on them, actually, or a game behind. I really don't. I should look at the standings before I just pull these things out of the air, but the Warriors are another team I see just being a playoff team. I mean, a play-in team this year. I don't see them making it to the top 6 seeds. I need to see how they all play together. I think this could go one of 2 ways. I think it could go, the Warriors do make it to the playoffs. I think they could be a top 6 seed. I think that's not outlandish to say, but I also can see them being the 10 seed, depending on how they're able to, cohesively include Jimmy into the rotation. Again, Andrew Wiggins was a big part of that team. He's been there for, I think, almost a decade. When was he drafted? 2016? Pretty sure it was 2016. He was a good player, and he played his role, and it's hard. I'm trying, I can't even, make a mental picture in my head of how that team is going to work now, because they rely so much on sorry, I'm just, trying to mentally picture kind of the offense that they would run with Jimmy. And the Golden State Warriors offense lives and dies by the 3. I don't think, who's their big man right now? I don't even know. Dang, I need to expand my horizons from just the Sacramento Kings, because I don't even know who the big man is on the Warriors. I don't even know if they have one, really. Man. Yeah, I need to watch a couple games with the Warriors, because I really, at this point, I don't see that working out at all. Unless they change their entire offensive scheme. So, I don't know. As far as predictions go for the rest of the season, there were a lot of big trades that went on, but there were three big trades that happened. The Luka trade, the Sacramento San Antonio trade, and the Heat Warriors trade. But other than that, there wasn't anything super crazy. So let's talk about predictions for the rest of the season. I think if there is any team that I think got drastically better post-trade deadline, it's gotta be the Spurs or the Lakers. I think that's pretty undeniable that those two teams are the ones that really improved, because the Lakers also got a big man to replace Anthony Davis in, I think it's Mark Williams from the Hornets. Again, another guy that I haven't really seen a lot of. I haven't really heard of because I just don't watch the Hornets play basketball. But after he got traded, I went and looked up and I was like, who's this Mark Williams guy? I haven't heard of him. And he's good. He's got the pick and roll down. He's a lob threat, which is what Luka needs. And that starting lineup is looking pretty solid. I mean, you have Luka and LeBron on the same team. I think that's just LeBron can kind of morph and play any role that he needs to at the highest level. And so I think right now, Luka's just going to find his groove. LeBron's going to play whatever role it takes to win games, and Mark Williams is going to help out with that. They still got Austin Reeves. I don't know who they're going to have for running point guard, but that's a good question. But anyways, the Lakers, I think, definitely got better. There's someone to watch out for. I think right now they're the 5 or 6 seed. I only see that going up, I'll be honest. The Mavericks, I think, are pretty much going to stay where they're at. They're still a good team. They're still a great team. I don't think they got better, but I don't think they got worse. I think they the trade kind of was just a neutral thing for them. Leaning more towards getting a little worse. Obviously, because when you lose Luka, you're going to not win as many games. And the Spurs, I think the Spurs right now are the 11 seed, so they're not even a play-in team. That's going to change. And if I had to pick one team that I think is going to drop out of the play-in, I think it's the Kings, which hurts my heart to say. But all the teams in that, you got the Warriors, the Suns, the Timberwolves, and the Kings. I think the Kings get, I think De'Aaron Fox takes our spot in the play-in with his new teammate. And that's just, I think that's the way it's going to go. That's my prediction, that the Kings fall out of the play-in. Which sucks. It does. But I think the organization has some thinking to do about what we need to do in the future and how we can, maximize the assets we have in Keon Ellis, Malik Monk, and Sabonis, and Keegan Murray. I think that's our future. I don't think our future is Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, because they're old. Anyways, that's kind of what's been on my mind this week as far as sports go. I'm thinking of making kind of an interesting video. Let me know what you guys think. Well, I'm not going to tell you. Never mind. Never mind. I'm going to post kind of a different video coming up here pretty soon. Like I said, trying to get more consistent with my posts and stuff like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I hope you guys enjoy this jersey as much as I do. It's beautiful, ain't it? Well, thanks so much, guys, for watching. I really appreciate it.